Hello everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. Today we are going to discuss the topic that is your waste treatment. Okay, we all know that this waste are produced by the household, okay, industry, and they are very harmful. They are very harmful for the human being. Okay, because this waste are either cause a water pollution, soil pollution, um, air pollution. Okay, so the treatment of this waste is very important, and also this waste are contain are hazards. Okay, these hazards are what they are harmful for the human being. Okay, so hazard may be some biological hazard, some chemical hazard, and some physical hazard. Okay, so all these hazard are what they are very harmful. They are very harmful. Okay, so that's why the proper treatment of this waste is very important. So in today's lecture, what we are going to do, we are going to discuss about the different treatment for this waste which are produced by a different industry or a household. So let's start today's lecture. Waste treatment. Now, first of all, we have to know that the definition of this waste. In the previous slide, we only discussed about the basic of the waste treatment. But in this slide, what we are going to do, we are going to discuss about the definition of the this waste treatment, and this definition is according to the EPA. Okay, so any practices other than our recycling. Okay, so in a waste treatment, we are not included the recycling. This is the separate process. Separate process. Okay, which is designed to alter the physical, chemical, or biological characteristic or the composition of the hazardous substances, pollutant, or contaminant so as to neutralize said substances, pollutant, or contamination, or to render it non-hazardous through a process or the activity separate from the production of a product or the providing of a services. Simply, what is this waste treatment? Convert the hazardous substances into the non-hazardous substances. Simply. Okay. Now, hazardous substances are also included, pollutant are also included, contamination are also included, and they will neutralize into a non-pollutant substances and also providing the services. Now there is a physical, chemical, and biological method which is used for the treatment of this waste which are produced by the different generation. Let's discuss. Now, we use this physical method so that the amount of the waste will be reduces or the volume of the waste become a concentrate, and to separate the different phase of the waste, whereas the chemical treatment method is used to convert the hazardous waste into a non-hazardous byproduct. Okay, so we choose a physical treatment so that the volume of the waste reduces. Volume of the waste reduces. Okay, but this chemical treatment, what they do, they convert the hazardous waste into a non-hazardous waste product. Now the next treatment is your biological treatment, which is carried out with the help of the microbes and the enzyme. Okay, so when we use this biological word, that means that here a involvement of microbes and enzymes take place. Okay, so this biological treatment are carried out with the help of the microbes and the enzyme, so that we achieve the same goal as with the chemical treatment, especially for the organic waste. Okay, if we have a organic waste, then in that case we especially use the biological treatment for the conversion of the hazardous waste into a non-hazardous waste. Although incineration is the main process used for a waste disposable, but it is very costly. Okay, this incineration is the main treatment of the waste disposable, but it is very costly. Other method, whenever possible, are chosen as a alternative way and are used in a conjunction with the other unit process. For example, a typical process sequence might be decantation, sedimentation, biodegradation, which are followed by a sludge agitation and finally the land filling. Now the next one, the toxicity which are associated with the waste are determined by the different factors for the selection of the different on a site, either that is physical, chemical or biological method. Okay, if there is a toxicity are present in a waste, then it is determined by the selection of the different on-site or off-site methods, either they are physical, chemical or biological. For a proper management of the waste, technical consideration involved in a selection of a specific treatment process, which may include the characteristic of the waste, which are include like physical form, constitute, concentration of each contaminant and the volume of the waste, the availability of the treatment method and their applicability. Okay, so this is about the introduction of the methods of the waste treatment. Okay, so the objective of this treatment, now this is your objective part. Procedure is another key factor in the selection of a particular treatment method. Okay, so which type of method we have to choose for the waste treatment is totally depend upon the procedure. It may be desired that we have to reduce the component or destroy it and then isolate it. Okay, if we have to destroy the component, then we choose either chemical method or biological method. Okay, if there is a organic waste are present, then we choose a biological method, and if we have to reduce the amount of the component, then we choose a physical method. Physical method in case of reducing the amount. Okay, the end product waste should be compatible with the ultimate disposable procedure to be used for the waste. For example, if the waste is to be disposed by dumping it in the deep ocean, and the end product of the waste treatment should consist of waste encapsulated into concrete. Okay, so suppose that there is a waste which are dumped into a deep ocean, then we choose a waste treatment which convert this waste into a concrete. So it totally depend upon the procedure of the waste treatment plan, which type of method we have to choose. Now the next one, in selecting a particular physical, chemical and biological method of a treatment, the economic feasibility of the method is an important factor as well. Okay, so which type of factor we have to choose, it's also depend upon the economical factor. Okay, the cost of the treatment procedure and the amount of the waste to be treated is also a strong factor. Moreover, the on-site and off-site treatment should also be considered in determining the cost of the process, the initial capital investment and the operating cost and expenses on the final waste disposable. Before discussing the waste treatment and its disposable, we have to look the waste minimization and disposable hierarchy. Okay, so before discussing the different waste treatment plan and their disposable, we have to just just you can say that just see the how we minimize the waste and disposable hierarchy. So we are going to see that diagram. Okay, so we have a waste minimization disposable hierarchy. First of all, we have to do a source of reduction. Okay, then we have a input material, technology changes, good operating practices, good keeping practices, and product change. Then here it is the recycling on the off site or on site, then reuse of the material and the reclamation of the minerals. Here the waste treatment that is done by a physical method, chemical method, biological method. Then we have a ultimate disposable, just a minute, ultimate disposable. Then we have then how we dispose is either we do a incineration, land farming, land filling, deep ocean injection, and a ocean deep. So these are the waste minimization and the disposable hierarchy in which we do how we minimize the waste and what is the disposable hierarchy. Okay, now come to the next one. Physical treatment. This is the first method for the treatment of the waste product. The first one is your physical treatment. Okay, we all know that this physical method is why we use, so that we separate the waste and reduce the concentration of the waste. Physical methods are employed to separate, reduce, or concentrate the waste. There are many physical methods are available for the waste treatment, and among them, the method which are used in the industry level are zone refining, drying, electrophoresis, whereas other have also found a little potential application on the account of their operational cost. So there are different methods for the waste treatment, physical waste treatment method, but we in an industrial level, the most that uses are zone refining, freeze drying, and electrophoresis, and some other methods are also used. And the common type of the method which we are using today are sedimentation, filtration, flocculation, adsorption, distillation, and solvent evaporation. These treatment methods are used for a phase or a component separating purposes. Okay, any type of the method we choose, but the end is what we have to reduce the concentration of the waste. This is the main aim of the physical treatment. Now, to reduce or concentrate the waste volume, phase separation method should be carried out for a sludges, slurries, and emulsion. Okay, so in case of when we have to reduce or concentrate the waste volume, then phase separation method should be carried out in case of sludge, slurries, and emulsion. Separating of the waste component containing large particle, filtration, centrifugation, or flotation may be used. Flocculation is carried out for a collider system. Okay, if there is a collider system, then in that case, we do a flocculation system. Removal of the volatile can carried out by a distillation or a evaporation. Okay, so if there is a volatile compound present in a waste, then it is removed by a either distillation or evaporation. Ion exchange, reverse osmosis, ultrafiltration. Ion exchange, reverse osmosis, ultrafiltration, and air stripping can also used in case of separating the waste component, especially for the waste water treatment. Okay, so if we have a water plant, then we use either ion exchange, reverse osmosis, and ultrafiltration and air streaming for the separation of the waste component. Okay, so the first physical method is a resins absorption. Resin adsorption. Okay, resin adsorption is a good option for selective removal of waste. Okay, so this is a good for the selective removal of the waste, and this technique is normally used for the removal of the thermolabile organic solute from a aqueous waste stream. Okay, if we have a aqueous waste stream, then in that case we use a resin adsorption so that it will remove the thermolabile organic solute. The solute concentration of the solution are range in between 1 to 8%. Moreover, synthetic cationic and anionic resin may be used so that it will remove the part, hydrophilic part or neutral solute, and it can also be recovered by a chemical method. These resins are also used with a concentration of dissolved inorganic salt in a waste stream. Okay, so this resin method are also used for the um, concentration of the dissolved inorganic salt. Suppose that we have a waste stream. This is your waste stream. Now in this waste stream we have a inorganic salt. So for the concentration of this inorganic salt, we use a resin adsorption method. Their application include phenol, fat, organics, and color removal from the waste water. They can be applied for the removal of the pesticide, carcinogens, and chlorofluoro compound. Okay, so this resin absorption methods are also used for the removal of the pesticides, carcinogens, and chlorofluoro compound. Now the next method is your electrodialysis. It is used for the separation of the aqueous stream, which is achieved through the use of a synthetic membrane and an electric field. So in case of electrodialysis, what we use a synthetic membrane, and also we use a electric field. Okay, so that the there is a separation of the aqueous stream will achieve. The membrane allow only one type of the ions to pass through, and it may be chosen to remove a other ion that move in a opposite direction. Therefore, it produces one stream rich in a particular ion and another stream depleted those ions. So there are two stream that are recycled or disposed of, and this technique are commonly used in case of desalination of brackish water, and also it is used in acid mine drainage treatment and the desalting of the sewage plant effluents and the sulfide liquid recovery. So the application of this electrodialysis are in sulfide liquid recovery, distillating of the sewage plant effluents, and the acid mine drainage treatment. And the most commonly we use this method in case of desalinization of the brackish water. Now the next is your flotation. Flotation method is used to remove the suspended organic and inorganic solids from a waste stream or a slurry. Okay, if in a waste stream or a slurry there is a some suspended organic or inorganic solids, then we use a flotation method. This technique is basically a physical process in which solution carrying suspended particle are agitated with the stream of air bubbles or a mechanical agitator. Okay, and froth form at the surface of the liquid or a slurry, which is removed by a skimmers or a scrapers. Individuals or the combination of the similar material can be used for the removing of this method from a wastewater stream. The next method is your air stripping. Air stripping method is used to reduce the concentration of the noxious gases. Okay, so when we have to reduce the concentration of the noxious gases, then we use this air stripping method. Now these non-noxious gases are ammonia and hydrogen sulfide from a biological treated waste stream. Okay, if we have a biological treated waste stream, then in that waste stream, if we have to remove our noxious gases like your ammonia and hydrogen sulfide, then we use a air stripping method. It can also be used to remove a volatile organic and other pollutant gases which are absorbed in a waste stream, and this method are highly efficient for the untreated wastewater. Okay, if we have a untreated wastewater, then we use this air stripping method. Wastewater containing a lime for a phosphate removal is first sent to a mixing tank and then to a settling tank for the calcium phosphate and calcium carbonate to settle down. The treated waste is then fed at the top of the two pack tower. Then air is fed counter currently through the tower so that it will remove the ammonia. The strip gas is then treated so that it will decrease its concentration, and wastewater is also treated. Now the next is your streaming. This method is used to carried out in a distillation column, and it can be either a packed or a tray tower, and stream is introduced from the bottom. Okay, we have a distillation column, and in distillation column we introduce the stream from the bottom and waste flow downward. Okay, if there is a waste present in that case, then it will flow out downward, and the obtained stream, which is rich in volatile compound, is again treated to remove the volatile material. Air stripping may also be required to remove the volatile material. Okay, so stream stripping and the air stripping both are used for the removing of the volatile material present into a waste. Now this stripping is very similar, so that it will use to remove the ammonia, hydrogen sulfide and other volatile component from a aqueous waste stream. If we have a aqueous waste stream, then for the removing of the ammonia and the hydrogen sulfide, we use a steam stripping. It has also been used to recover a sulfur from a refinery waste and the organic from a industrial waste. For the removal of the sulfur from the refinery waste and the organic from the industrial waste, we use a steam stripping. Now the next is your solidification. Solidification method is used as a physiochemical process that are transform hazardous waste into a non-hazardous waste by a solid by fixation or encapsulation. Okay, so the main aim of the solidification is what? The conversion of the hazardous waste into a non-hazardous waste by a fixation or a encapsulation. In fixation, the solidifying agents are used to solidify the waste, whereas in capsulation the waste is surrounded by a binder after it has been solidified. Okay, so in solidifying we use a solidifying agent so that sorry, in fixation we use a solidifying agent so that it will solidify the waste, but in case of the encapsulation the waste are surrounded by the binder, and this binder convert it into a this binder solidify it. Both the process are durable, impermeable and environmentally safe product. Based on the solidifying agent, this process are divided into a 5 category: silicate, cement, lime, thermoplastic, organic polymer and encapsulation technique. And this process are used for the treatment of the hazardous waste. Previously the solidification was used for the disposal of the radioactively wastes. Okay, so in a previous solidification are used only for the radioactive wastes, but now all type of the hazardous waste are treated with the solidification, and gain a popularity for the waste treatment which have a result of the strict environmental regulation, and this process is also suitable for the sludges from the stack gases scrubber and for a fly ash from cement and iron industry, as well as from a planting and the lead smelting plant. Now the next treatment after the physical treatment is a chemical treatment. Okay, so we all know that in a chemical treatment, what we do, we convert the hazardous waste into a non-hazardous waste. Okay, so there are numerous processes for the treatment of the waste that are used in a conjunction with other methods. These methods like calcination, precipitation, catalysis, electrolysis, hydrolysis, neutralization, photolization, chlorinolysis, oxidation and reduction. These are the different chemical methods which are used for the conversion of the hazardous waste into a non-hazardous waste. Let's discuss one by one. The first one is your calcination. So calcination is a single step process for the treatment of the complex wastes which contain organic waste and the inorganic waste in the form of slurry, sludges, tar and aqueous solution. And how we achieve it, we heat it at a higher temperature, and when we heat it at higher temperature, then the air should be absent so that all the volatile should be removed. The real application of this process is the recalcination of the lime sludges from a water treatment plant, cooking of heavy residue and tar from the petroleum refining operation, concentration and reduction of the liquid radioactive wastes, and the treatment of the refining sludges which contain a hydrocarbon, phosphorus and also the compounds of the different minerals like your calcium, magnesium, iron and aluminum. Now the next is your electrolysis. The next chemical method is a electrolysis. In this process, oxidation or reaction take place at the surface of the conductive electrode which are already immersed in an electrolyte and under the influence of an applied potential. This method are applicable to any component which carry a electronic charges. Either they have a positive charge or either they have a negative charge. Now this method are commonly used for the recovery of the heavy toxic metals of economical importance. Okay, so electrolysis method are basically used when we have to recover the heavy toxic metals for the economical use from the concentrate solution. For example, copper, chromium, cadmium, it can be removed from a waste solution. Electrolysis is not very useful for a organic waste. That means that we cannot use electrolysis in case of the organic waste. Pilot application like oxidation of the cyanide waste, gas emission which occur during the process, and in case these gases are hazardous, further treatment is required. Now the next is your neutralization. This process are used for the adjusting the pH of the waste solution near to a 7. Okay, when we have to adjust the pH of the waste solution near the 0, then we use this neutralization method, and for this purpose either we use a acid or either we use a base. These waste might have a different chemical and physical changes like your precipitation, evaporation of the gas which occur due to the result of the chemical reaction. Then this process has a wide application to a aqueous and a non-aqueous liquid, slurries, sludges, and why it is widely used in a waste treatment plant. Now the different application of this neutralization like pickle liquid, mine drainage, acids, acidic and basic waste, plating waste, and so on. Now the next is your Neutralization are carried either in a batch process or in a continuous process in a reactor by mixing either the acidic solution and an alkaline stream together, or by passing a acidic waste through a packed bed of the limestone. Now, the addition of this solution of concentrate bases like your caustic or soda ash, so that the acid, liquid or compressed CO2 to a basic waste treatment can be applied. The choice of this acid or base does totally depend upon the process that we required, and as well as also in the cost of that process. Now the next is your chlorinolysis. This process is used for the chlorinated organic waste, like ultimately it converted into a carbon tetrachloride. In this process, we treat the organic waste, and this organic waste are feed into a reactor in which the temperature is around 9000 degree Fahrenheit, and chlorine gas are also present into it at under a 20 atmosphere. This chlorine react with the hydrocarbons and form a carbon tetrachloride and also chlorinated product, which this chlorinated product are removed by our distillation, and this process are applicable for the waste streaming which contain a organic waste. And this chlorinaceous product produces all this chlorinaceous also produces the hydrochloric acid and phosgene gases as an effluent, which are further treated. The leakage of this chlorine is another hazard which are associated with this process. Okay, so there is a one hazard which are also associated with this process is the leakage of the chlorine. Oxidation. Oxidation is simply the process which involves the transfer of one or more electron, and it can be carried out by adding an oxidizing agent or via electrochemistry. This process are used for the detoxification of the hazardous waste. Detoxification of the hazardous waste. Okay. The oxidation of the cyanide to a cyanide and the decomposition of the CO2 in N2 are the good example of this oxidation. Metals can also be oxidized to the higher oxidate state, thus making them insoluble, and it can be recovered as a precipitate. This oxidation also have an industrial application, like oxidation of the cyanide with the help of chlorine and ozone to a cyanide. Ozone coupled with the ultraviolet light are also used for the oxidization of the halogenated organic compound, and it can also use the resistant to the oxidation with the ozone alone. Reduction. Again, this process is totally reverse to the oxidation, and this process are used in a electron are transfer from one reacting species to the chemical being reduced, which give a result. This transfer, the valence state of the chemical is lower. The resulting chemical also become a less toxic or easy to precipitate. In this process, the reducing agents like gas, solution or divided powders are used, and the reduction reaction are followed by the separation step, like your precipitation, remove the reduced compound. Chromium used in a industry like metal finishing, inorganic chemical manufacturing, coil coating, corrosion proofing, aluminum forming, iron and steel manufacturing, electronic manufacturing, leather tanning and pharmaceutical are the example of this reduction method. Chromium is very toxic chemical, and its Cr6 plus state, where C3 plus state is less toxic as compared to the Cr6 plus state. Now the next treatment is your biological treatment. Biological treatment also involve a chemical reaction which are carried out by the microorganism. That I already told you, when a biological term are used means that there is a involvement of the microorganisms take place. Okay. Inside, the microorganisms either absorb a compound inside their cell body or decompose it with the help of the enzyme, or excrete the enzyme to bring it outside the cell for the decomposition. The most common type of the biological process in a waste treatment is the decomposition of the organic compound, and these organisms decompose both type of the compound, that is either organic or either inorganic. Different biological processes used for the treatment of the waste, like your sludges, aerated lagoons, anaerobic digestion, compositic enzyme treatment, trickling filter, and waste stabilizing ponds. Now, this process are also known to be a reliable and environmentally friendly, and chemically additives are also used which are not needed, and the operational expenses are also relatively low. Therefore, the different biological treatment methods are expected to have an important role in the further waste treatment facilities. The first one is your activated sludges. The first biological treatment is what? Activated sludges. Activated sludges is the most widely used treatment in a biological waste treatment process. This process uses a microorganism, and this microorganism decomposes the organic compound in a aqueous waste. These microorganisms are truly mixed with the organic organisms. These microbes take the organic into a cell through the cell membrane into a cytoplasm, where the enzyme break this organic compound into a smaller fragmented with different reaction, and this microorganism derive energy and cellular material from this reaction. They also absorb colloidal material, suspended solid, and metal on their cell surfaces. Now the next is there are the certain controlling factors for the efficient decomposition, like extent of the mixing, amount of dissolved oxygen, concentration of the toxic metals, and the type and concentration of the organic compound. The next method is your aerated lagoon. This method are very similar to the activated sludge process, but here are different in that way that the biological sludges is not recycled, and the aerated lagoon is an earthen basin which is lined to make it impermeable and artificially aerated. Now the next treatment is your compositing treatment, which are aerobic digestion by a microorganism in a soil so that it will decompose the organic, and this can be accomplished by peeling of the waste in the ground and aerating it occasionally by turning and moving the soil. The collection of the leachate and the runoff that is produced is normally required to prevent the groundwater contamination, and this process are some have some other biological process can also be used and can be tolerate some toxic and metals. Composite is commonly used for the organic waste, and also it will complete digestion required 3 to 6 months, and depending upon the condition of the climate. Composite has been successfully with our municipal ripples, high concentration organic sludges, and some petroleum refiners. So this is all about the different method of the waste treatment. We discuss about the physical treatment, biological treatment, and the chemical treatment. I hope you will understand all the process, but if you have any query related to this topic, you can ask me in a comment box, or for a further detail you can follow the ITLS Academy on different platforms, that's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, and LinkedIn, and subscribe our channel ITLS Academy on YouTube and get our app from a Google Play. Or if you have any query, you can also ask your query to the helpline number that are already mentioned in your slide, that is 7080833450, and visit our website www.itlsacademy.com. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe our channel.